Hey, thank you for continuing to watch the channel. And it looks like I'm going to attempt to do this third session that has been overdue for a very long time. And I know that there is not a lot to do on the channel. I'm hoping that the new faces will read the poetry in the comment sections, and hopefully the old sessions will still be a blessing to those that are still passers-by. Okay, this one is surrender. This is for an individual that needs to surrender, and I'm sure that there are some of us that have issues in our lives, even in our spiritual lives, where we need to surrender, that we might be able to go forward. And hopefully that is what you will get from this session. To surrender, to relinquish possession or control of, or to another because of demand or compulsion. To give over, to control, to release yourself. And the topic subject that I picked for this one would be to give over to your higher power. And to give over to your higher power is the best thing that you can do for your life in living, is to know and reverence your creator and accept him. The chapter that I have for that one is the Romans, the 13th chapter, the first verse. And that is, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Second verse, whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. And I wanted to really make the point that this is not another you're going to hell message, but it is to say that the best place that we can be is to know and receive the powers that be. To know and receive God, to know and receive Christ, his sacrifice, our Savior. And that way we will know better how to attempt to go through the obstacles in our lives. But the fight itself, always remember that it is not yours. It is the Lord's. He gives us power. He gives us power in praise and in prayer. But if you ever find yourself going up against the devil head to head, then maybe you might want to step back and give that over to the Lord. He doesn't make any coward soldiers, but he does give us to know and to discern. We're talking about surrender, and the main thing that helps us to surrender is to relinquish pride. The pride of life. What is this? The 1 John, the 2nd chapter and the 16th verse. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And we can have anything that we want in this world. We can pretty much do what we want in the world, and be what we want in the world. But all is vanity when we are not working in some way in our purpose in that God gave us to be here. For every soul that he purposed to be here has a purpose. And so in surrendering, we get out of the way. That pride that we have, things that we feel that we can handle, and then once we get in the mess, then we want God to pull us out. But if we go ahead and surrender and leave a listening ear for his guidance, he will help us through that. We want to surrender from that arrogance, conceit, and the headiness of pride, and the pride that concerns the world. Because when you really look at it, everything that happens everything that God allows, He allows for a reason. And if He doesn't allow it, it just will not be. So each day is new mercies and kindness, grace and mercy that God gives us, that He does not even have to give us. Now, it's fine for a soul that does not care to acknowledge God. God Himself even created that. We have to remember that. But if you want to be free in your life and free in your spirit, then that surrender, especially to your higher power, will give you the power to go forward in what God has for you. It will give you the power to go forward in what God has for you. The seeds and the watering that God purposes through your life from day to day. Sometimes you'll cross people's path and you never know how God may be using them, or a word that they might have for you. But when we are prepared and when we surrender, then we're open, and you'll find that God will send more things your way. We want to surrender to His truth. That'll enable us to surrender all of the bad things that we hold within ourselves that will hinder us. If we don't forgive, we're hindering ourselves. If we will always remember and never forget, we're not forgiving. So we're holding hatred and animosity in our hearts. That's hindering us. That's a weight. That's what will keep you from being free to live your life freely and free in your spirit with no weight. That's what we want. You can be happy and you can be free, and you don't have to be someone that's giving power over to something that somebody did to you weeks ago, days ago, years ago, and they're going along happy and free, and you're sitting there still pondering and angry over something. That's what you want to surrender to God. You want to be honest with yourself. You want to be honest with God. And then in doing that, you should be able to be honest with everyone else. You don't owe anybody anything but God. God blesses us with families and children and husbands, and our duties are still due. But who you owe is God. In closing, I just wanted to say that in surrendering and letting go and lending a listening ear, keeping that relationship with God, He will help you. But sometimes we've got to get out of the way. And then when jealousy, anger, unnecessary conversations, and irate people come our way, we won't feel so ready to take part in that. We won't want our ears to be weighted down. These are things that you do not have to receive in yourself and in your spirit that will give you baggage, that will weight you down to the point where you won't be free. And that's all for surrender. And I'm working on mine. And I pray to God that you'll be working on yours. God bless you and thank you.